let's start here. Let me just like paint the picture of this real estate agent. They are a year and a half in the business. This is their second year. They're starting to develop some momentum,
Hmm.
and they are not happy at their current brokerage. And they are curious about EXP. You
Hmm.
know, they've done two, three, four deals, and they're like, yeah, like I said, they're just not happy where they're at for whatever reason. And they're now entertaining EXP. I want to look at the differentiation factors that EXP brings to that real estate agent so they can better, come to a really good conclusion on either choosing EXP or not. Like it may
Yeah.
not be the brokerage for them. I know a big one is revenue opportunities. Lots of individuals are very curious about the revenue opportunities at EXP. And so can you speak on that a little bit?
Absolutely. But let's start with the prototype of this agent. So it's an agent who's
Mm,
newer to the business and
mm-hmm,
they are having success. All right.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
What and obviously we're just speaking to a prototype, so I don't have a specific issue to speak to, but I'm going
mm-hmm,
to make some pretty big assumptions here. There's a couple things that happen quite frequently when agents come into the business and get recruited by a brokerage. Okay. Number one, if they're brand new, they're probably not on the most ideal split. That's okay, right? The premise is that there's going to be a substantial amount of support, guidance, curated steps to them building their business. The other thing that may, and that's the offset for that cost. The other
mm-hmm,
thing that's likely happening during that recruiting process is a plethora of promises, type of training, amount of hours of training, the, quality of the training sessions, the collaboration. So again, there's two things that are happening and they do intertwine.
mm-hmm,
Likely a lower split or not an ideal split because they're new. And in conjunction with that, the promise of very significant and really business building coaching, training, mentorship that would
mm-hmm,
come along with it.
mm-hmm.
An agent who's been in the business for a little over a year and starting to have success is probably really frustrated that the trade of value for compensation is not lining up and has not been lining up.
Mm,
Again, we're just assuming here, but if that type of agent is not happy, it's likely because they're finding that they figured out ways to go grow their business on their own that they cannot attribute to that brokerage. And so they're
mm,
like, well, if I'm doing this on my own anyway, why am I here? And
mm-hmm,
for every agent who
mm,
asks themselves that question because they're starting to build their business on their own by figuring it out, number one, that's awesome and great. Like that's what you should do anyway. And number two, yes, go really look for what's going to line up for you as far as that ideal place to build a career and hopefully one in which it'll allow you to build roots so
mm-hmm,
that your longevity of building a great real estate business at that brokerage is going to start to exponentiate your results. So if that's a new agent out there that's finding success on their own and the value proposition promised by that brokerage isn't lining up, yeah, these are the right questions. That frustration is coming for a reason. It's time to go look for something else that could be better for you.
Yeah, it's crazy. You hit you hit spot on. Like I believe that is the number one reason why real estate agents that are like, starting to build momentum, why they even consider moving is because they're like, I'm doing this all on my own,
Yeah,
yet I'm paying my brokerage, whatever amount it is.
right.
But why?
And
Like,
potentially
what
even
are
a
they?
mentor as well. So yes.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's interesting. That's spot
Yeah,
on.
I mean, without having a specific question or specific agent and a specific issue to speak to,
Hmm.
in a general sense, I'm pretty confident that that type of agent is coming to that conclusion for somewhere within that vicinity of a reason.
Yeah, 100%. All right, so say you're on a call with this individual
Yeah.
and that has that, issue,
Mhm.
and they are very curious about like, all right, cool, like, I'm paying my brokerage for XYZ. Um, what is it, what are the splits at EXP? And yeah, and any other fees that come along with EXP? Like
Yep.
if you can go into like a couple of, yeah,
Yeah,
those
absolutely.
expenses
So
and fees, yeah.
yeah, EXP Realty. the value proposition of this brokerage is unsurpassed that I found. And I tell people this all the time. If you can show me a better model from A to Z, I'll be there tomorrow. No one's ever shown me that. That's why I'm here. And that's why I know I'm going to remain here. EXP Realty has a really simple compensation plan, right? All of our agents are on an 80-20 split with a $16,000 cap. If anyone's unfamiliar with a cap, it's not a cap on you as the agent, it's a cap on the brokerage, okay? The 20% that goes to EXP Realty is what the industry would call company dollar, okay? And the $16,000 cap means they're going to cap off what the possible amount of company dollar that EXP could retain from your production as an agent. So what happens is once you cap, then you go to a 100% model with a flat $250 fee per transaction. So it operates more like a 100% brokerage for the rest of that year once you cap. Remember, our compensation model is far more robust than what else is out there. So there are more pieces to it. And this is where agents have a really hard time because they think they're comparing apples to apples and they're not. They're comparing apples to oranges. And so, you know, if you're looking at a Schwinn bicycle versus some other bicycle, right? And then someone brings to you a motorized bicycle, you're going to have to understand there's more there. There's a different complexity there. So you can't say, you know, the motorized bike is the same as the Schwinn. You're not comparing the same thing. And that's where a lot of agents get stuck at understanding EXP's model. And I would say in a more general sense, the agent ownership type of real estate model, which EXP was the conduit for these other models coming to the market, which is great. At the end of the day, for me, EXP is still the standard and the by far head and shoulders above any other agent ownership model. But I love that there's others. That's a good thing. You know, I don't look at it as like, you know, we're the only ones and no others can be here. No, that's good. We're still the best, definitely for my business. But I love that EXP is starting to change the way that other brokerages understand how real estate should be for the agent. It's around the agent. That's a really good thing. So that's how EXP works. 80-20 split, $16,000 cap. Once you cap, flat fee, $250. There's more nuance that we'll get into moving forward. When you close a transaction at EXP Realty, there's a couple other costs to know about as well. So we have a compliance team that makes sure that all of our transactions are obviously compliant, right? It's a second set of eyeballs to make sure that the file is completely dialed in, signatures are there, documentation to support, you know, whatever was necessary in the process of that transaction are all in there. And so when you close a transaction, there's a $25 broker review fee, which pays for our compliance team. Okay. It just makes sure that all of the transactions in EXP Realty are dialed in. Now, EXP Realty is agent owned, literally meaning that as we sell more real estate, and there's some other ways in which we can earn this, we build an equity position in this brokerage through our publicly traded stock. So the reason I love the $25 broker review fee is because that protects my company that I have ownership in. I own shares of stock of this brokerage. I want to make sure that every transaction has that level of scrutiny and oversight so that we know as a brokerage, we're doing things the right way and we are therefore protected. So there's a $25 broker review fee. Finally, when you close a transaction here at EXP Realty, there is a risk management fee, and this is essentially your E&O. All right, so whenever you close a transaction, it's per transaction. There is a $60 risk management fee, which covers your E&O as an individual agent. But the best part is that E&O is capped for the year of $750. So you'll never, as an individual agent, pay more than $750 towards your E&O. So it's per transaction. The $750 is not a total charge that they're going to invoice you for if you only did 2 deals, right? So if you only paid in 120, they're not going to invoice you for the rest. That's just all that you needed. So You pay $60 per closing of risk management, but once you've paid a total of $750 for the year, that fee no longer shows up for you.
And then you mentioned two other things, like and these might be the same. So correct me if I'm wrong, but there's like an agent ownership. You mentioned the agent ownership aspect of revenue, and then also the stock in the company.
Yes, and let's not get there just yet. There's one more thing that I
Oh,
want to make
okay.
sure that I mentioned.
Yeah.
Um, Joining EXP Realty, there is a $149 sign-up fee. And what
Mm,
that really does is allows the company to do what's necessary to make sure that you have the collateral that you need when you first make a transition, as well as set up a bunch of your accounts for a huge technology package that we offer our agents. Specifically for an agent who's doing a few deals a year, coming to EXP Realty is going to add rocket boosters to your business because EXP is going to create for you a technology package that's really designed to help you sell more real estate. This is also a tech package that an agent who's doing a couple deals a year is going to get tons of value from, and it's one in which can scale. So even if you're an agent year 2, 3, and 4, where now you're starting to do, 30, 50, 100 transactions a year and build a team around you, this same technology package is going to grow right along with you and be in support of that growth of your business. So, for example, KV Core is one of the CRMs that we offer at EXP Realty. That system is not exclusive to our brokerage. Any agent can go and get KV Core. Last time I looked,
mm,
standard pricing for KV Core is about $1,200 to set up for an outside agent, not with EXP. And
mhm,
for that agent, it's probably going to cost them north of $500 a month. It's a very expensive
mm,
CRM. And Cameron, it's worth every single penny. All right.
mm,
This system will help an agent scale and grow their business as long as they use it. So KV Core alone is powerful. Every agent can get it. You don't have to be with EXP Realty, but I just shared with you the cost. Now, when you come to EXP Realty, as part of our technology package, KV Core is included in the tech package, and all of our agents pay $85 a month. Okay, so it's
mm,
149 the day you start, and then from month number 2 and on for the rest of your career, it's 85 bucks a month. KV Core is just one of the tools that are included for that $85 a month. We have other really
mm,
important systems that are included, like SkySlope, like our workplace with a huge referral network. So there are really robust tech tools that our agents get to use. And I really find it interesting that people are like, well, if you go to EXP, there's no office space. Well, our agents are able to leverage the company's relationship with Regis. And as part of our tech package, we actually have access to Regis spaces really all over the world at that same $85 a month. And so EXP, being a cloud-based brokerage, actually has far more space and opportunities for agents to show up and work no matter where they are than any other company can even compare with.
mhm.
So for being
Nice.
a cloud-based brokerage, we have more office space than anyone.
$175 sign up fee for the tech package, and then it's $85 a month for it.
149 to start up.
Oh, 149, 149.
149 to start up, and then from month number 2 and on, 85 bucks a month.
Dang, that's pretty good for a CRM and um for like all the tech that you mentioned, and then also you get a office space at Regis.
Yeah, you have Regis, so you can go and use any other common area. At Regis, if you want your own private office with your name on it and a key to the door, yeah, that would come at your cost as an agent, right?
Hmm.
But every Regis is independently owned and operated, so you go figure out at your local Regis if you wanted that space, what it would look like through your membership. Really
Hmm.
simple. Most of our agents, though, like most agents in the world, don't show up to an office all the time. They're out
Hmm.
there in the field. They're learning how to work as loosely as necessary so they can both be belly to belly with their clients and yet
Hmm.
still be completely plugged in to everything that they need to run a business, all of their systems. That's why EXP is really focused on not only making sure that we have the technology around us, but that a lot of it's going to be mobile driven so that no matter where you're at in the world, as long as you have an internet connection, you're in business, you're in the office.
Is there more to monthly fees, or like are there any other fees associated with EXP, or that's all
That's
of
it.
them?
That's everything right there. Yep. That's
Nice,
that's
nice.
everything exactly how it works. You know, the great thing
Amazing.
about EXP Realty is they don't fool around.
Hmm.
We know what this entire brand was built around. And the entire idea of EXP Realty is to lift up the agent in a way that's never been done before.
Hmm.
So what that means is when EXP puts together a technology package for our agents, they want to make sure that it's going to help them grow their production. That's what we're in
Yeah.
business for, right?
Hmm.
The beauty about EXP is that simultaneously, while an agent is out there focused on building real estate transactions, helping families buy and sell real estate, being a resource for our clientele and our communities, the model itself is also designed to lift that agent up in a way that's never been done before, where the
Hmm.
agent is treated like the owner of the company, which is a very real thing because selling real estate here means you automatically build your equity position in the brokerage with our publicly traded shares of stock. So you will accumulate more shares of stock if you sell more real estate. Novel idea.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And the other part is, and this is something that an agent can leverage if they want to, if they help the brokerage grow, they can participate in a revenue share model, which let's keep it really simple. It's like broker money. Every real estate company that wants to have agents within that organization, they go and recruit agents, and the broker, for whatever value proposition they offer to those agents, be it just that I'm a broker and you're not, and you need to hang your license somewhere, usually there's some type of offset where, okay, if you're going to hang your license under my brokerage and I'm now responsible for you as the managing broker, there's going to be, at closing, a small amount, be it a percentage, be it a flat fee, whatever it is. And that's the give and take that we have with any brokerage that's out there. Okay.
Hmm.
So any broker owner is going to recruit agents if that's part of their model, because some of them just want to be an independent agent. Okay. But we're talking to
Hmm.
people who are trying to grow brokerages.
Yeah.
They're going to go and recruit agents, and those agents at every closing will pay them something. Okay. Maybe they'll have other fees too, but I'm talking about the transactional costs. And so
Hmm.
there every broker owner wants to have more agents for that reason. They want their agents to be productive because they make more money doing so, right? The
Hmm.
difference between EXP and any other brokerage is really simple. At any other brokerage, the only person who's making broker money is the broker owner.
Hmm.
At EXP
Hmm.
Realty, any agent can leverage that platform without even having to be a broker, without even having to be responsible for the compliance of that agent that you bring to the company, because we already have managing brokers in place. We have an entire compliance team. So you can essentially just build an organization, and EXP has decided when an agent is helping the brokerage grow, then they're going to be compensated for doing so. It's really that simple. It makes me
Hmm.
laugh when a lot of agents are like, well, that seems a little off and different. Is this some kind of, multi-level thing? Let me make it really plain for everybody. The real estate industry, the brokerages are an MLM, if you will, right?
Hmm.
It is that
In a way,
pyramid
yeah.
model. There's one broker owner. They recruit a bunch of agents. When these people do something, that one person gets paid. Okay.
Hmm.
So every brokerage out there has a model like EXP Realty. The difference is at EXP, they cut you in on the deal. No one else is going
Hmm.
to do that for you on those traditional models. Okay. That's the only difference. And so agents, it's so
Yeah.
funny. They get all weirded out when they've never heard of this before. And it's like, you're missing the point. The point now, the reason this is more nuanced and the reason why it sounds weird is because the company actually wants to compensate you in a better and different way. And so it's
Yeah.
always, to me, it's almost comical. It's like, you have a problem with that? I don't, I don't understand that.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I may be mistaken, but I think that, other brokerages act obviously not as levels deep as EXP, but like other brokerages, the franchise model, if you will, is kind of like that same where it's like you have ABC company up here, they have one, two, three, four franchises. Those franchises are then bringing in agents that are closing transactions. A broker gets paid, and then they pay the company an actual, I believe it's a franchise fee.
Mhm.
And so it's a similar hierarchy, if you will. It's just not as deep, obviously.
Well, and then EXP Realty is not a franchise. We are one
Yeah.
brokerage
So
across the world.
yeah. So what I was basically like comparing it to, because you were saying you guys are not a MLM company. I was saying that like because you were saying that well, the actual brokerage model traditionally acts as an MLM company to where the brokerage gets paid off of all the agents' doings. And so yeah, and so like yeah, because I was going a level higher in that hierarchy where it's like, well, there's a company as well. There's a big name brand company, and then they have franchises all across the world, and
Mhm.
then they make a piece off of it every franchise, and then every franchise is in itself making money off the agents. And so all I was saying is that like using that comparison, like it's just obviously EXP is like way deeper because you guys are giving ownership to every single agent that comes in,
Yeah, and
and so
what
it's like every
really
single agent.
I know because I've worked at franchises before in my real estate career. 20 years in,
Mm-hmm,
I've obviously had a couple of different locations and offices, brands that I've worked with. What
mm-hmm,
frustrated me about franchise models is that when you go and sit down and figure out, well, what are my splits? What are my costs? They'll tell you a split. Just to keep it simple, let's call it an 80-20 split. Okay. So like, okay,
mm-hmm,
yeah, great. Your split's going to be 80-20. That's what we're doing here, right? But then you dig a little deeper and you're like, well, what's this 8% franchise fee? Oh, well, that goes to the franchise on every single closing. You're not at
mm-hmm,
an 80-20.
mm-hmm.
You're not even close. You're really at a, 28-72.
Yeah.
But for them to
Yeah.
just call it an 80-20, like it can be cringy, and this is what I mean by the elevation of not only simplicity, but of real focus on the agent instead of the brand.
Mm-hmm. Wait, so you're saying that 8% franchise fee is passed to the agent in a normal, like in a traditional brokerage?
Depends on each office, but
Mm-hmm.
ideally, yes, that's what traditionally happens.
Interesting.
There are some broker owners who will just eat that for you.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of up to their discretion if they're willing to do so, but traditionally, no.
Yeah. Dang, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah. So then on the broker side, if the broker decided to eat it, it would be yes, the real estate agent's getting 80% of the closing, but then the broker gets 12% minus all their overhead. Um, yeah, dang, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Because yeah, then holy cow. Yeah, that's interesting. Is there okay, so still speaking to this real estate agent that is, not happy with their old firm and they feel like they're putting in more work than their firm, and so why am I paying my firm 70/30, whatever it is? Obviously, this real estate agent is like, I want support and I want training.
Yeah.
Is there like when they're looking in EXP, like is there some sort of like from a financial perspective, like is there costs associated with the coaches, and like how does that work if I wanted a coach or I wanted a support of some kind?
Yeah, the beauty about EXP Realty is that EXP Realty is really like this platform. It's a platform where there's a lot of special things that could be built on top of it and around it. Okay.
Hmm.
So, what I'm going to do is I'm first going to speak to just purely EXP as a brokerage, as a platform. And then I'm going to speak to what some of the things like my organization have done with that platform to elevate it even further. Okay.
Hmm.
So, to start with EXP Realty, one of the most brilliant things that they did is they created something called the Icon Agent Award. An Icon agent at EXP Realty is an agent who, based on their production, are able to receive a reward that is far superior than a plaque, okay, or like some extra tag on your business card, okay. This
Hmm.
is substantial. So the way that, in a simplistic terms, the Icon agent who before they capped, right, paid a $16,000 total, 80-20 split. That was the company dollar that through their split before they capped, they paid to EXP, right? The Icon Agent Award essentially, and I'm going to make it very simple, but they can get
Mm,
their entire $16,000 cap back in the form of company stock. There
mm,
are a few milestones there, but just so people are clear on what it means to become an Icon agent, essentially, if you were to cap here at EXP, all right, and within that same calendar year, you did another 20 transactions on your own, then you would qualify as an Icon agent. Now, if there's a couple of deals there that you split with other agents, so the real metric to become an Icon agent is, if you'll recall, when I said once you cap, you go to a 100% model with a flat fee of $250 per deal, right? When that $250 per deal turns into $5,000, that
mm,
qualifies you as an Icon agent. So if you split 50-50,
mm,
you're not paying the full $250 flat fee. You're paying 125 as an example. So, but
mm,
once your total accumulation of flat fee charges after capping hits 5 grand, you become an Icon agent here at EXP Realty. Again, there are a few
mm,
milestones. They want to make sure you're a good cultural fit, that you're willing to show up and support company events. I'm saying all of this to point to one of the most brilliant things that they did, though. At EXP Realty, again, being really focused on the agent and their ability to grow and scale and have the best of the best resources available to them, instead of just hiring some real estate trainer or 10 of them, right? That maybe that's their focus now. They don't sell real estate anymore, they train other agents. EXP decided we'll have someone kind of manage all of this so that we know the agents have what they're looking for in terms of all things cutting edge lead generation, training, you name it. But what they ultimately decided was, who better to train our agents than our most productive agents? That way, you're
mm,
not only getting relevant information, you know it's working now. Because what worked in real estate in the 80s probably is not going to be as effective in today's day and age than it was
mm,
then. Good luck using a lot of those scripts. Everyone's heard it already, as an example. So we
mm,
want agents who are in the marketplace now, in the trenches now, and absolutely thriving to be the ones to show other agents based on not theory, but what's legitimately working in their business, how to replicate. Okay. So
mm,
duplication's a big thing for us. So what they decided is, let's tie the Icon Agent Award to those agents being willing to show up and train other agents.
mm,
So part of the Icon Award, part of that compensation is for those agents to show up and be willing to pour in to all the other agents at EXP Realty. So I think
yeah.
it's absolutely brilliant. As a platform, EXP Realty has created over 60 hours of live training every single week and a
Mm,
library of training that is probably the most superior training that exists for real estate agents, because it's all from the agents who are the most productive in
mm,
over a 90,000 agent count brokerage. They're the best of the
yeah.
best.
And that's just included. Like when I come to EXP, I can
Plug
contact
right in.
any one of those coaches. Oh,
Absolutely.
wow.
Yeah. Well, remember, those aren't coaches.
Hmm.
Those are agents who are willing to show up and train. So they'll do a training platform for you.
Right.
Now,
Interesting. Interesting. Mm,
yes. Now, here's what I'll tell you, I think, about training in the real estate space in general. All right. If an agent wanted to go onto YouTube and learn all things real estate, you could. You can go
hmm.
on YouTube and find anything that you need to grow your business.
That's true.
Why don't people do that successfully, though? And I think it's a really easy reason. There's too much.
Mm,
There's too much. How do you know what's
yeah.
right? How do you know the sequence in
Mm,
which to do it in?
hmm.
So the name of the game is no longer we need more training. That's not it. The name of the game, in my perspective now, is who's going to do the best job of curating that training in two different ways. Number one, based on what an agent looks for in terms of where they're at in their career, meaning the new agent versus the agent who's ready to start a team versus the agent who literally has a massive organization and they want to continue to scale up. So that training or that coaching needs to be curated based on where the agent is right now and where they're trying to go next. And then once they reach that new level, then rinse and repeat. Who's the right training? What's the right curated, approach to take so that they can go from where they are now, which is an elevation, to where they're going to go next. And you keep repeating that based on that, proper process and curated approach. So that way they don't waste time, they don't waste resources, energy. They know exactly what to do and how to get to the next place. The second
Yeah.
way in which I think that it's really important is that it's delivered in a way for an agent to have mass customization, meaning there's a massive amount of it, but we can customize based on the agent's business plan
Mm.
and that agent's niche.
Mm.
Because again, if you go on YouTube, you're going to get what you're going to get, and it's going to be all over the place. And we
Yeah.
really need to start with a business plan so we know exactly the blueprint that's in line with that agent for a million reasons we won't even get into because it's a whole other video on its own. But once that roadmap or blueprint is created, how do we curate the proper content to help them in the very specific ways and in the ways in which that agent needs to niche down to really create the success that they're looking for in terms of production?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
those are the two
It's a,
ways in which, that's the new name of the game. It's not about training. Anyone can get training. It's everywhere. Like I said, go on
Mhm.
YouTube. Go on TikTok. There's a million things that you can do to see all the training. The problem is there's so much of it now, you'll never get through it all. You'll probably never have time to implement any of it. And then you don't even know what to implement first. So that is not the
Mhm.
game anymore. There's 60 hours of live training at EXP. That's awesome. Don't get me wrong. But who's helping you curate? So this is where I'm going to
Yeah.
transition from what EXP's done, which is amazing, brilliant, and the best. And I'm going to start talking about what we've done as an organization to actually level it up so that it can be implemented. All right. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
what we've done here
Yeah.
with our group here at EXP Realty, our alliance group, is we have put together some of the best coaches available in our network for our agents to connect with without a cost. Those
Mm.
coaches are the ones that help the agents through their business planning, through understanding what skill development they need, and through their curated approach and adding on some accountability. They're helping these agents step by step with the integration of these things so they can start seeing success. This has the only reason this is even possible is because of the EXP platform. Agents don't have, well, there's two things happening. Agents don't have time to teach other agents because they feel like it, because they just want to be nice.
Yeah.
EXP's model has made it so that our ability to add value and pour into agents makes financial sense for us now.
Mm.
Because if we can help other agents scale and grow their production and make more commissions, we naturally, through EXP's platform, we get paid enough for that to make more than enough sense for us.
Yeah.
So there is a level of collaboration here at EXP Realty that people cannot understand until they're here, because it doesn't exist
Mm.
in your traditional brokerages. Because the rock star agent in that office, what incentive do they have to teach you how to do what they do
Yeah.
and duplicate? Okay. They might give you tidbits, but no one out there in a traditional brokerage model as a lead agent, like one of the better agents in that office, there is no reason for them financially to want others to duplicate what they're doing. Because of EXP's model, the brilliance of how we all come together as agents and now we all win together, duplication is a main focus. We want to pour into agents. We want to help them duplicate success. We want to help them level up, because when they win the platform, the model of EXP, when they win, we win. So now we all get to win together.
Mhm.
It creates this rising tide wanting to raise all ships mentality. And again, that's just not normal in the real estate space. I think a lot of agents, especially you think about the old brokerage models, 20, 30 years ago, everyone saw this industry as a dog eat dog industry. You know,
Hmm.
everyone's out for themselves. No one else is going to try and help you because even agents in the same office with the same branding on their business cards look at each other as you're my competition. We've
Yeah.
completely flipped the script there. So what we've done
Yeah.
within our organization is we've created over 23 real estate coaches. And how did we do it? Really simple. We made sure that we identified an agent's career path in terms of their growth and how to scale. And we've found and curated the right coaches for every single step of the way, how to go where they're at to the next phase, where they're at that point to the next stage, and on and on. So different
Mhm.
coaches focus on their one specialty as far as the scalability of an agent's career. The second thing that we did, which is brilliant, is we really got coaches who can niche down in very specific areas. Okay, I'll give you an
Mm.
example. I did not build my real estate career cold calling. Okay. And a lot of
Mhm.
agents have
Mhm.
come to me in the past and say, Joe, you've helped me with a ton. You've been a great coach to me and I want to cold call. Can you coach with me on how to be a great cold caller? And my answer has always been no. No, because if I can't point to my own personal path, my own personal success in doing so, I have no business trying to teach. I can teach you theory, but you can get theory anywhere. Just go to YouTube. But if you're looking for someone who's a coach, you want to know that they're time tested and proven there. Because when
Mhm.
someone talks theory, once you scratch past that surface, there's no there.
Mhm.
And if I was willing to
That's
do
true.
that, then I'd be like every other brokerage that recruited someone under false pretenses and they have nothing to actually offer in terms of value. So instead of someone like me trying to be everything to everybody, I get to focus on my specific areas where I do excel and shine and just pour in there and level up there. So when agents
Mm.
come to me, it's for the very specific area in terms of where they're at in their career and or the specific niches that I've built my business around. But if they come to me and say they want a cold call, I'm now in a position with the coaches in my organization to say, come over here. This is the coach you need to work with now.
Mhm.
Because that coach specifically excels in cold calling. They do it to this day every single morning. They'll show you the objections that they're going through nowadays, the kind of numbers that it takes for them to see results, everything, because they're in that trench.
Mhm.
And I would rather someone coach with someone who's in the trench in that specific way than someone who can speak theory. So that's where our organization has taken EXP's model and we've built a beautiful system around it to have real results for agents where we can literally focus on that person's individual development and the growth of their real estate production. And if it cannot be duplicated in our group, it's not worth doing.
Mhm. Yeah. Interesting. So side note, so I'm gonna take this off, but what's it called? Is it cool to get into, because you mentioned um the individuals who are icon agents are just individuals that do want to take their expertise and teach it to the next real estate agents. They obviously are getting incentivized by your guys' platform, like that ownership model. They're being incentivized to go out and do this. Can we get into that next of
Yeah,
like
because they're not
how
actually
that tier
coaches.
system?
The icons are not coaches. What they basically ask them to do is be willing to come and train for 1 hour a month in the cloud.
Oh, got it. Okay,
So they
yeah,
just put
and
on a
that's it.
training class. That's
Yeah.
why our group is so unique and special, is because above and beyond just taking an hour and just spitting out training, which is not bad, don't get
Hmm.
me wrong, but to have
Hmm.
someone who has a vested interest in walking you through it step by step, night and day different thing.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say it's like the difference between just having a teacher, like because I've taken online classes for
Mhm.
things. It's the difference between having an online teacher and then having an online teacher plus a tutor that you get to go to afterwards.
That's a
And the tutor's
perfect
like,
analogy.
yeah, the tutor's like, wait, where are you actually struggling? And
Yep.
then let's solve that so you can, get an A on your test.
That's exactly right. Yep.
Hmm.
You nailed it, man.
Yeah.
Teacher and tutor
Hmm.
is a perfect analogy between trainer in the real estate space and coach. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's pretty cool.
it would make sense for me to show you this. Because this, let me just walk you through it and you tell me if this makes any sense. Okay.
Okay.
So what we're looking at here is basically how money flows in real estate in general. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this could
Mm-hmm.
be a franchise, this could be a boutique brokerage, but based on the model, the mechanics or the way in which the structure is built is all very similar. Okay. And it
Mm-hmm.
all
Mm-hmm.
starts with someone who owns it. Okay. Be it a franchise owner, a brand like Realogy, or it could be a mom and pop broker owner, small office. Now,
Mm-hmm.
if it's a franchise, that's when you're going to get into regional owners. And then the regional owners sell the franchises to the franchisees. So they are the ones who own that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in most of these models that are not cloud-based, even if it's just a boutique brokerage, then you have brick and mortar offices. And there's a cost to maintaining those spaces, obviously. And
Mm-hmm.
then below that, you might have some support staff, managing broker, maybe a controller of the office, an accountant, a sales manager, maybe a transaction coordinator, someone to do oversight. Like there are usually staff there to support those agents, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then at the bottom of that, you have the real estate agents. Okay. When you look at a model like this, it's really important to know there's only one party identified here that actually creates revenue for the
Yeah.
brokerage. And who is that?
The real estate salesperson.
The real estate agent, when they bring a transaction to the table and close a transaction, that is the only party and the only time in which revenue is created. And what
Mm-hmm.
happens with that revenue? It trickles up to pay for the staff, to pay for the brick and mortar. If there's a franchise, then the franchise owner likely has a small piece, and the regional owner has a small piece. And ultimately, that owner, whoever that is, be it a major corporation like Everywhere or the mom and pop, but
Mm-hmm.
that revenue flows up and away from the agent to pay for everything else.
Yeah.
The cloud-based model, EXP's model, what that did is it allowed for a technology to kind of eliminate a lot of the brick and mortar needs, right? We don't need
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
offices anymore. But not only is it just like we're going to be cheap and not have offices, we've made it so that a technology eliminates the office need because agents actually get superior support through our
Mm-hmm.
cloud-based Meta office. They actually get superior engagement and communication with their brokers and support staff without having to go into an office, and we've made it more efficient for an agent so that they can be out there in the world doing what they do best, which is interfacing with their clients and still get exactly what they need.
Yeah.
Well, that also meant we could start to eliminate all of the other costs associated around that old model. Okay, so at EXP Realty, that meant we could do one of two things. As a brokerage, EXP could say, well, that just means more money for us. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. But instead, our founder, Glenn Sanford, wanted to solve what was one of the main problems of our industry once and for all. And that main problem was he, and I think everyone else watching this, knows agents throughout their career that at one point crushed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very substantial annual incomes in commissions. And yet at the end of their real estate career had nothing to show for it, or in a major change of real estate cycle, went from feast to famine. Okay.
Mm.
That's a problem for all of these people who are out there, doing what it takes to be a real estate professional and add value to their communities and to their clients, and all the costs associated with doing real estate transactions with no expectation of being paid until a successful closing. It's not okay that people go through their careers having success just to be completely decimated because the system of real estate wasn't supporting the agent through that journey.
Mm-hmm.
That was the one problem to solve. So instead of just saying, hey, we created, this new technology that allows us to make more money, thank you very much, Glenn Sanford decided we're going to reposition the system around agents so that it supports them better. And what that
Mm.
system is agent ownership. And he decided What we're going to do is we're going to help agents grow something substantial throughout their career. For example, through our publicly traded stock, so that as they sell more real estate, they actually begin to own more and more and more of this brokerage through our publicly traded stock.
Hmm.
And for anyone out there who's like, EXP, some kind of weird scam I'll get to the bottom of, really, we're traded publicly. So that means the SEC is involved. I'm pretty sure the SEC would have sniffed out a problem a long time ago. Furthermore,
Hmm.
we are traded on the NASDAQ. All right. So we have layers and layers of oversight.
Yeah.
The NASDAQ's not going to let some weird, company come on here that's scamming people and be a part of their platform. They'd be delisted immediately. Okay. So
Yeah.
not only are we have oversight from the SEC, but we also have more oversight when it comes to the NASDAQ. That's how well scrutinized our model is. And that's great.
Hmm.
I love that level of accountability and oversight.
Hmm.
Because if someone screwed up something up and did something wrong and messed up the numbers or played with money, they're going to jail.
Hmm.
Okay. But coming back to this, Glenn was like, all right, great. So we can include a model where the agents are kind of the precipice. They have an ownership in this brokerage. So as they do more real estate, they build their equity position. They're a larger owner of the brokerage. Furthermore, if the agents help build the brokerage, meaning they help bring more agents to EXP Realty, they should be compensated like any other broker growing their brokerage in that same capacity when they bring an agent over who's productive, meaning those agents do deals, you get a small piece of it like any other broker would be. But except here at EXP Realty, you don't have to be a broker. You don't have to have that massive financial investment in building your own brokerage, of having your own office, and that extreme level of accountability when it comes to risk management and making sure that your license doesn't go into to the tank because agents weren't doing what they were supposed to do. So all that
Yeah.
oversight is taken care of by the EXP platform, but because we help grow the brokerage, and all we're doing is sharing the good news. Hey, you're doing real estate already. If you're doing real estate already, my model allows me, through selling real estate, to own a piece of the brokerage through our publicly traded stock. Does your brand
Yeah.
allow you to do that? If so, awesome. If not, go ask them. And finally, if they say no, come over here. How many great
Yeah.
agents out there in the world already, through real estate transactions or through their leadership, because they're, really good practitioners or trainers out there in the world, have probably been the reason why agents move from one brokerage to their brokerage. And what did they get for it? Maybe a Starbucks gift card or a high five from their broker. Here at EXP Realty, you're paid when those agents do transactional volume and not out of the agent's pocket. We're not talking about being a team leader and having an overlay on their split. What you're compensated comes from company dollar. So the platform, the model of EXP itself is already accounted for that to take place. It's powerful.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is, Cameron, it's literally changed lives.
100%. Yeah. It took me a while to understand it, like just because I feel like it's exactly what you said at the beginning of this, is comparing apples to oranges, and I was trying to look at it like an apple, and
Yeah.
then that's when you showed me how it was an orange. Like that's when I was like, oh, okay. And so it took like looking at the model like multiple times to really understand, like go a little bit deeper than just the 80-20 split with 16 K cap. And so
Now, Cameron, I'll also tell you this though, like there's a lot of agents out there that look at the EXP model and maybe had exposure to it from other EXP agents who really didn't understand what the model was ultimately designed to do. And what that could
mm,
look like is someone just trying to recruit, right? Just come
mhm,
over here for the
mhm.
sake of coming over here. I don't give a crap if it's better for you or explaining that. I just know that I win when you come over here. Okay.
Mm,
I get it. That's happened enough. People got frustrated, no problem. But that's not what it was designed to be. What it was designed to be is putting our agents in a position where, through their collaboration and efforts and ability to help someone level up, if they made that transition over, now they could be compensated for helping pour into somebody that way. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Furthermore, you don't come to EXP to recruit. Okay. You can, don't get me wrong. It's part of our business model, but
Mm-hmm.
most agents don't have an interest in that. I didn't. I still don't. My focus here is on building my production, building my agents' production. And if I find other agents out there in the world that I think that are really good agents, who I think I just would want to be partnered with, I definitely want them to come and work with us, because they
Mm-hmm.
could be the new leadership that we're always adding to for all of our agents. Or if I
Mm-hmm.
could see that another agent who's starting out or just hasn't quite hitting six figures consistently can really benefit from the collaboration and the ways in which we pour into our agents here, then yes, I
Mm-hmm.
want them to come here, not because it's better for me, but because we've identified that it's better for them.
Mm-hmm.